At the MercyOne Children's Hospital, you'll find expert providers and leading-edge technology. In today's Hello Health, we are talking about the EndoFLIP, a new technology currently not available to pediatric patients anywhere else in Iowa. Pediatric gastroenterologist Hazem Zagul joins us today with more in Hello Health. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome, Megan. It's my pleasure.
Well, first of all, what is EndoFLIP? I had never heard of this.
Yeah, so EndoFLIP is a new technology that developed a lot in the last several years. It helps the gastroenterologist to evaluate esophageal symptoms like difficulty in swallowing food, regurgitation, or chest pain. It stands for Endoscopic Functional Lumen Imaging Probe. So this technology basically uses probe or a catheter that has a balloon attached to it. And this balloon gets inflated inside the lumen of the esophagus, and it starts taking measurements of the dimensions inside the esophagus, like the diameter and the pressure. And as you can see the catheter on the image right now, and it also measures the distensibility of the esophagus at different levels. And this will be shown or displayed as colorful 3D image of the esophagus. It will also show the contractions that happen in the esophagus during the study, which makes it a great tool to evaluate the motility of the esophagus for any motility disorder or movement disorder.
Oh yeah, and it's really interesting to see those pictures. You kind of explained how it's performed. How long does this take? Is it an outpatient or test?
Yeah, so the test is outpatient. It's performed in the endoscopy unit, and the test is done while the patient is under anesthesia. So they don't need to cooperate for the test. We initially perform an upper endoscopy, which a lot of people know as the camera test, where we pass a tube that has a camera at the end to visualize the inside of the gastrointestinal tract and rule out any mechanical abnormalities explaining the difficulty in swallowing. And we can take biopsies with that test as well. Then we start the EndoFLIP test. So we pass that catheter inside the esophagus, and we secure it in a good position, a few centimeters into the stomach. Then we start the inflation process, and we infuse a certain known volume of electrolyte solution, and we start taking measurements and assessing for the presence or absence of contractions during the study. So the EndoFLIP itself takes about 5 to 10 minutes with the upper GI or the endoscopy, and the anesthesia takes about 25 minutes.
And what are the advantages of the test compared to traditional testing?
Yeah, so probably the biggest advantage of this test is that it's done under anesthesia, and a patient does not need to cooperate, which is a great advantage when we are talking about performing an esophageal motility test in the pediatric age group, where cooperation can be very challenging. For example, in high resolution manometry testing, we generally pass a catheter through the nose into the esophagus while the patient is awake, which can be uncomfortable. And we ask the patient to take several swallows and drink water during the study, so they will need to cooperate, which can be challenging in the pediatric age group. Also, compared to radiological studies, for example, this test does not require exposure to radiation. And the test provides a lot of information as well about the dimensions inside the esophagus and the diameters, which is not provided with other modalities of motility testing. But I just want to say that all of these testings are great tools that the clinician has to evaluate for esophageal motility disorder and reaching the accurate diagnosis. So they kind of complement each other, and they don't replace each other at this point.
Yeah, it just sounds like they both, like you say, work together, and it's just amazing to see how far technology has come to improve testing as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here for Hello Health. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
The MercyOne Des Moines Children's Hospital is located at 1111 6th Avenue in Des Moines. You can schedule an appointment by calling 515-247-3121. More details on this technology and who it can help is available on the website mercyone.org/EndoFLIP. Be sure and follow MercyOne Des Moines on Facebook and Twitter. All of their handles are right there on your screen. Coming up after the break, we are taking you to two different farms. One has a few things ready to brew in Madison County. The other one is known for its history. In case you missed it earlier, in honor of actor Keanu Reeves' 56th birthday, here's today's Who Knew question. What sin does Al Pacino use to try to get Keanu Reeves once again down the dark side at the end of The Devil's Advocate? A, sloth, B, vanity, or C, greed? That answer is coming up.